Good Friday to you. And it actually is. Today is Good Friday. My name is Evan Smith. I'm the pastor at Second Presbyterian Church here in downtown Stanton, and I'm coming to you today with your daily Lenten devotional. Today in the life of the church is called Good Friday, and it's the day that we remember Jesus' crucifixion. And so we're looking at a few verses from Matthew's account of the crucifixion, beginning at verse 45 in the 27th chapter. From noon on, darkness came over the whole land until 3 in the afternoon. At about 3 o'clock, Jesus cried with a loud voice, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is, my God, why have you forsaken me? When Jesus was on the cross, he quoted from Psalm 22 here, which is a very popular psalm. It was a psalm of suffering, but also a psalm that eventually pointed back to hope in God for liberation and rescue. And so it's a very appropriate one for Jesus to quote here. But also, I think it does mirror Jesus' feelings. Like while he was on that cross, becoming a sin offering for all of us, like taking all of our sin, all the sin of all people for all time that would ever be put upon him is put upon him there by a God who is outside of time in that moment that is bound in time on our timeline, because we are not like God. We are bound by time. And so all those things were put on Jesus, and he experienced that as tremendous isolation and separation from God. Now, the thing that's wonderful about that is that while it's terrible, Jesus had to go through that for us, that he did though. And because of that, God will always be with us. Jesus died in part so that we could always be with God, and God will never abandon you. And that's really important, I think, to remember in the midst of our times of social isolation. I don't know your setup. Many of you may live home alone, and it can get really lonely and difficult not being able to go out and to have your social support structures and all those things. And so if there's any part of you that, whether you live alone or with others, that has come to feel a bit lonely, I just want to say this word. God is always there. God is always there. He will never abandon you. He is walking beside us. And that is something that we really need in the midst of difficulties, not only to know, but to be able to embrace. And if you're having trouble realizing that, ask God, God, make me aware of your presence. God, please work in this situation, work through me, help me to know you. And continue to seek God so that you may be spiritually sensitive enough to perceive him, because we will never be abandoned by God. And that is the word for today. Today, being Good Friday, at noon today, there will be a Facebook Live and on our webpage streaming service for Good Friday. We never do Good Friday services, so this is something new with the life of our church. It's been a really, really long time since Second Church has had a Good Friday service. And maybe your church, if you aren't someone who attends Second Church, maybe your church isn't doing one and you want to participate, but I'll be hosting a watching party and would love for you folks to be able to worship with us today on Good Friday in the midst of this Holy Week as we're trying to wrestle with Jesus' crucifixion and his suffering and what that means for us today as we are in our own period of isolation and suffering because of COVID-19. So I hope you'll join us, and we'll see you in a few hours. So thanks a lot. Have a great day, and goodbye.